This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of Movie Reviews and Observations number 109. The first movie I watched was called Phobias. It was about some mad scientist trying to take the power of fear and weaponize it. But whoever wrote this film, it was so unorganized, it was so confusing. You're first trying to get to know this dude and his father in a wheelchair and his life. Then you throw in like three or four other people's lives and you're so confused on what's going on that it's just like once you understand what the plot is and that there are people kidnapped in a facility, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. But in general, I don't know who thought this movie was a good idea because it's just super confusing. Then I watched the movie Beast, which was about random people in a Southern American town, having different stories and then intertwining with each other like drugs and guns and high school drama, and they had it all connect up. The dude who's into guns shoots this kid who's just trying to make it, and his girlfriend is upset and goes out and fights, it and like the news and stuff, and you get what you paid for. An 80-something minute boring drama movie where they're like, we'll take stories that are all intertwined with each other, and it's like, okay, cool. Nope, it was not that great of a movie. The only positive thing that it was is that it was a very short movie. And the next movie I watched was Interviewing Monsters and Bigfoot. Sounds like an interesting idea, interviewing, creatures and stuff. But you're so confused. You got the ranger, and then he's got like a brother, and then he's got like a cousin and a sister, and it's very, very, very confusing, and you're just like, I don't know what's going on. Then you got some scientist who finds out he's a grandparent. Blah 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 blah, and he knows that his wife died because of Bigfoot, and he's trying to capture Bigfoot. But then you got like these, documentary crew people who are also out there, and then you got this crew of people who do things that are really stupid. Then you got this covert agency. So you're like watching this movie, and you're like, I gotta worry about the people who have like a Ghost Hunters type of TV show crew, some weird dumb rednecks in town, the forest ranger and his partner, and the scientist who's supposed, professor whose wife died and he's got a grandchild, and then you got the agency. It was so confusing. I'm sorry to like Tom Green and all the other people in this movie that were famous, but you don't know what's going on, if you finally find Bigfoot or not, if they're actually going to do anything. So many hoops and like layers to get to understand what's going on that you're just like, why was this movie made? Maybe if the movie was not almost an hour and 50 minutes and it was an hour and like 20, 30 minutes, they could have made this movie so concise, cut out a lot of the bull crap, make it simple of who's in the movie and who's not in the movie and what's important, because it's very hard to figure that out. Then I watched the movie My Brother's Keeper, and it was a very cliche Christian movie about a man in the military who loses all the people in his unit. He's in town because his close friend, played by Joey Lawrence, passes away, and he speaks to him, like he sees him like as like his ghost in a way, that it comes with like a message and everything, and you're just like, okay, interesting. And of course, losing all the people in his unit, and then his parents dying in a car crash. He's like, why would I believe in God? God has been horrible to me. And the woman who's in charge of the Veterans Center, they make her a romantic interest, try to get him to connect to God and all this other stuff. And then there's like this whole plot twist of his childhood best friend is like the cause of his parents' death, and he's involved in drugs, and this guy, besides from helping fixing up the veterans place, he's trying to get his friend clean and helped out. The guy who owns the shop is his friend's father, and they're close. And, at some point in the movie, he's going to come back to faith and be baptized again, and it's all going to be tied up in a nice bow. It was really annoying and very cliche, and just a lot of just like obvious things that they're like, okay, we know this was going to be the woman he dates. This is the troubled friend. This is this. This is that. It was just, you could see everything coming from a mile away. And, Joey Lawrence being on the cover and being in the credits, he got an easy paycheck for being in this movie for like 2 seconds in the beginning, and then just a couple of cameos throughout the rest of the movie. Then I watched the movie Endangered Species with Philip Winchester and Rebecca Romaine, who are a married couple. They take their adult teens to Kenya on this adventure. He's got money troubles, so they can't afford everything. So they think it's cool to rent a van that doesn't help them out, take glass stuff with them, go off the road, not do what they're supposed to, and then animals attack them, and then they got to survive. And Jerry O'Connell's in this movie, and I'm a fan of his, but he's not the main guy in the movie. And this is the movie this is the don'ts of when going out of town and going to Africa and going on safari. The movie is telling you what not to do, but then it's making a political statement about rhino hunting and poaching and animals that it's way a little bit too political. There's some too left-wing stuff, throwing in a child being gay, not liking the boyfriend of the daughter, and him being rich, and then all this other stuff. And this person, I know we try to make a point, MJ Bassett, but make a documentary if you're trying to make a point, because this movie just, it was not well written, and it was just like, oh my god, it's so stupid, half the stuff happening in the movie, you're just like, what's going on? That it just was like, okay, I get the point of the movie, you got some famous people in there, and it wasn't that long. It was, listed as 101 minutes, so it was like, 90-something minute movies to an hour and 40, so it wasn't that long. If I were to pick a movie that I enjoyed the most this week, it would be just the idea of hunting Bigfoot, even if the movie wasn't that great. The rest were pretty bad, pretty junkful. Thanks for listening to another edition of Movie Reviews and Observations number 109. I can't believe we've done 108 of these. For On the Radar Tape Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.